I'm going to go into the reverb section here in a second, but there is one more plugin that I wanted to show you that I do use a lot. I just haven't used it in this particular instance. You can use it on just about anything, but here I'm going to show you across the drum bus. I'm going to pull up the Pultec EQP-1A, which is old school passive equalizer. These are really nice EQs. They don't look like most EQs that you've probably used before. They're a little bit weird looking, I know, but they're very simple to operate once you understand what's going on. It doesn't look like a normal EQ where things are sort of in a linear fashion. This, you've basically got three sections. This section here, which is your lows. These three guys right here are your lows, and then you've got this section right here, which is your mids, and then you've got this section right here, which is your highs. And it's a little strange, I know, but bear with me here. This isn't a lesson on EQ, but I'm going to show you real quick here how to do it. You've just basically you select your low frequency here, 20 hertz, 30 hertz, 60 or 100. Select the low frequency that you want to work with, and then you can boost it right there. It's that simple. The weird thing about it is that in addition to boosting it, you can also attenuate it, which means bring it down or diminish it. So in addition to boosting it, you're also bringing it down, which sounds counterintuitive, I know, but it's going to do some very interesting things with the shape of that EQ wave, and it's going to really allow you to add some punch and clarity to it like no other EQ that I know. So that's why a lot of guys really like these Pultec or Pultec style EQs, because of that little frequency dip or boost you get right after you boosted something. If you attenuate it also, it's going to leave you a little dip right below it. It's hard to describe without a visual representation, but if you try it and listen to it, I think you're going to like it. That's the low end. The middle section is pretty simple too. You've got this, you choose your EQ with this. You've got a little bit more control there. It's 16 kilohertz, 12 kilohertz, 10 kilohertz, 8, and so forth all the way down. So that's what those numbers mean. And then here you get a little bit more control over it. You get to adjust the bell or the shape of the curve. If it's wide or narrow, you get a little bit more control like that. As it says, sharp is very pointed and broad is more wide. So that's what that's doing. So you adjust the frequency that you want to control right there with that, and you can boost it. And it looks a little counterintuitive here, but the attenuation in the very high end is right here. You can't raise the high frequencies. You can adjust the frequency that you want to control right here, 5, 10, 20 kilohertz, and then you can only attenuate it. So you can only roll off highs. You can't add highs with a boost. There's no boost setting for the highs. You can get those like you want right here, but when you want to get to the highs, 5, 10, 20 kilohertz, you can only reduce them right there. So it's a little bit of a strange beast to get used to, but I think when you dig into it, you'll really like the way that sounds. And you get a lot of presets you can play with right there. So if you don't know where to start, pull up some presets and see what some of these guys are doing. These are from different engineers and producers and what they prefer. So you can learn a lot from their settings and then make up your own from that. This particular package from Universal Audio includes 3 different variants. That's the main one right there. They also give you this guy right here, which is the MEQ5. This was a slightly simpler version, designed more for guitars and mid-range heavy stuff. You've got a frequency adjust here, and then you've got the volume control there, or the boost right there. So you adjust your low mids and then boost it, and in the middle you've got a dip. This one attenuates, and then so you adjust your frequency there, and this one doesn't raise it but actually lowers it, so you're kind of scooping out the middle. And then at the top end you've got your high ends. You adjust again with a boost right there, so you adjust your highs and boost them right there, your lows, boost them right there, and then the middle frequency you're going to reduce and pull it out. So you're bringing up your outside, you're pulling down your middle like that. It's pretty easy to use. And of course, just an overall volume output right there on both of them. With this package, they've also included, let me show you one more. You don't see this one too much. You're always seeing the EQP and the MEQ used in combination. Those are two that are frequently used together. But this last one is something that is included with the Pultec package from UAD. There's no attenuation knob. You just select the frequency. It's basically like a high pass and a low pass filter. This is your high pass. You select the frequency, say 50 hertz. Everything below 50 hertz is going to get rolled off. And the opposite is true on the high end. You select your high frequency, say 12 kilohertz, and everything above 12 kilohertz is going to get rolled off. So it's basically putting a curve like this on your final output. So if you've got something that's too boomy, too much bottom, you can use your low cut right there to adjust that. And then if you've got something that's too bright and shiny, you can roll off highs. Say if you had an overhead pair of mics and they're just too crisp, too shiny, you could roll that, get some of those unwanted highs off right here. Same for a vocal. If you're having a problem with a vocal being too sibilant and essy, you could get rid of some of that very top end stuff up here. You can use this EQ separate from the other two. There's no reason they have to be used all together like this. Not at all. I've just got them up like this for demonstration so you can see them all. But any one of these can be used separately. You could use just the MEQ for guitars or vocals or something like that, a snare drum. Usually the one I'm going to open up is going to be the EQP. That's kind of the main bad boy of these three. That's the one that gets all the attention. But don't forget these other two guys, this last one being sort of the red-headed stepchild that nobody gives him any love to. But of all the different EQs that we have, we're still using EQs back from the 40s and 50s and 60s on modern mixing. So I love that. Again, another desert island type of EQ. Instead of using more traditional linear types of EQs, you might find that you're getting better results with these. They're a little tricky to operate, a little tricky to look at and get your brain around. But once you do, they're really musical sounding. They really do some nice stuff. So you might want to step into kind of a more advanced class and play around with mixing with some of these old school EQs.